Welcome to the Just Being Petty Show. I am A.W. Petty, your host. Please like and subscribe and help us, you and I, build this show. And I really appreciate all of your support. So today I want to talk about the chaos that's going on in the Strait of Hormuz and what this so-called great deal maker is doing over there, or lack of doing. So as of May 7th, 2026, President Trump has paused Project Freedom, a U.S. Navy mission to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz, citing potential deals with Iran, which is a lie. It's no deal. They already said it. Though reports suggest the pause was triggered by Saudi Arabia blocking U.S. access to the Prince Sultan Air Base amid broader troop reduction in Germany. Right. Here's the deal. Trump and this administration think they're tough guys. They think they are tough guys and they're going to force somebody to do what they want them to do. These people over here have been fighting for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And you cannot force them to do what you want them to do. And especially with an incompetent president and an incompetent administration who have no idea how to negotiate, at least in a national way or in a geopolitical way. They have no idea what they're doing. Period. It's crazy. President Trump paused the operation meant to guide commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz after it was launched on May 4th to counter Iranian pressure. And let me be clear, none of that worked. They lied about they were getting ships in and out. They were never getting ships in and out. As soon as they tried to get a ship, I think in, Iran launched an attack on a couple ships. So they've been lying all along. And those lies lead to another story, which he has some guy named Barack, I want to say Ravine. I know he's on X. I think he works for some newspaper or something, but whatever the case is, at the end, at the closing of the stock market on Friday, he sends this guy information, and this guy positive information about what's going on in the Middle East. This guy puts this stuff out, and it shoots the market up. So, and then on Sunday, he does the exact same thing. He sends this guy information, positive information, which is not true. And this guy puts this stuff out, and the market on Monday, voila, starts out high. It's all market manipulation. Formally a pause for peace negotiation with Iran and requests from mediator like Pakistan, though the naval blockade remains in place. See, none of this is happening. He said Iran said they were not negotiating with the United States. They sent J.D. Vance and I want to say Marco Rubio over there one time, and they were like, we're not showing up. We're going to meet here for a minute and then we're leaving. I think they were going to Russia or maybe China, and they did not show up. And so Trump came out a few days later and said, well, I'm not sending anyone over there. I'm not going to send anyone. No, you're not sending, you already sent someone over there. And Iran didn't show up. You are the worst negotiator ever. You think you can strong arm people to do what you want them to do. The United States right now, and this is my country, and I'm not rooting for Iran or anyone else, is at its weakest point ever. Because you have the weakest man in the presidency that has ever been in there, along with his administration. Because you got rid of all the smart people who knew what to do because you didn't want to listen to them. You wanted to run this alone like you ran your countries, like you ran your companies and like you ran your companies in the ground. And that's exactly what you're doing to the United States. You are running this country in the ground. You have no idea what you're doing. So NBC News reported the project collapsed because Saudi Arabia Arabia denied the U.S. military access to the vital airspace and the Prince Sultan Air Base to conduct operations. Saudi Arabia refused to allow the U.S. to use their base airspace for operations against Iran. This forced the halt of Project Freedom just days after it, just days after. Trump is removing 5,000 troops from Germany amid a feud with German Chancellor Merz over criticism of the United States-Iran strategy. See, here's the deal. You cannot run a country based on your personal feelings. Nothing will get done. You're running this country on your personal feelings because no one's agreeing with you about this war. So you're going to be mad at everybody, our allies, everybody. You're pulling troops out like a kid taking his ball from the sandbox. That's when I say you're like a child. You're like a child. You can run your countries. You can run your companies like that. And we know when you ran those countries, a lot of those companies, excuse me, I don't know what's going on today, but you ran those companies in the ground. We know. So, like I said, we've got an infant in the White House just ruining everything. And then on top of that, instead of worrying about what's going on in the business of the people in the United States, you're giving a UFC fight on the front line of the White House. This is madness, people. Batshit crazy. So both moves in terms of Saudis not letting him use the airspace or the base and the removal of 5,000 troops from Germany puts a strain on relationships with regional Arab partners in the Middle East and reduces reliance on European NATO allies. See, this is what I'm saying here. This guy and these people in here, they think they're tough guys, but they're not. They're weak. They're weak, and the world is showing them we are not dealing with you guys. And like I said before, I don't know how much damage and how long it will take to fix the mess that this guy, the Republican Party, his administration, has put us in. It could take years, maybe decades, to fix relationships, to get departments back the way they should be, and get all of these partisan hacks out of these departments and put people that know what they're doing in these departments. It could take decades. Who knows? So also, the loss of access to key Saudi base significantly hampers U.S. capacity to project power against Iran, restricting options to enforcing the blockade. Removing troops from Germany weakens NATO cohesion and puts strain on the U.S.-European partnership, affecting the operation of crucial sites like Ramstein Air Base. That's what I'm saying. They think that they're so tough that they can go this whole thing alone. And this is who 71 million people voted for. This is who 71 million people voted for. He was a disaster in his first term, and he's a disaster now, period. Continued blockade in the Strait of Hormuz keeps risk high for global energy supplies passing through the area. The pressure, the pauses, the troop withdrawals place immense pressure on the Trump administration to finalize a win-win deal with Iran to avoid further escalation. So here's the deal. I don't know how this is going to work out. I suspect, because I don't think Iran is gonna fold. And I think that these Middle Eastern countries like Saudi, I think they're getting tired of this nonsense because they know they can't count on this guy or this administration because it's nothing but lies that come out. So I suspect that he may just fold and pull and be done with it. because he doesn't have the intelligence, nor does his administration, to get out of this mess. Period. And so I want to go over something that I thought was important that kind of relates to this. And it's the United States as it relates to conflicts and as it relates to having allies when they went to war. Now, they have done some wars without allies, but I'm going to go over them and then we'll talk about it. The United States has rarely fought alone, but it has not had significant combat allies in every conflict. While major 20th century wars and 21st century wars conflicts were fought with coalition, the United States has acted alone in several regional interventionist or civil conflicts, including the Civil War, 1861 to 1865, and the 1989 invasion of Panama. So here's a breakdown of U.S. military history regarding allies conflicts with little to no major external allies. The Civil War, as I said, 1861 to 1865, they fought that entirely alone, which it was civil, so I can understand that. The Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1948, fought without formal foreign military allies. Spanish-American War in 1898, principally fought by U.S. forces, though assisted by local Cuban-Filipino revolutionaries. So they had some help there. The invasion of Panama in 1989, largely unilateral U.S. action. Now, these are conflicts the U.S. had allies with. Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783, heavily dependent on France, Spain, and the Netherlands. World War I and II, fought as a leading member of major alliances. Korean War, 1950 to 1953, fought under the UN command with 15-plus nations providing troops. Vietnam War, 1959 to 1975, supported by troops from Australia, South Korea, and others. Gulf War and post-9/11 conflicts. While the U.S. carried the brunt of the burden, operations in Iraq and Afghanistan were conducted as part of an international coalition. Historically, while the U.S. has often led coalitions, it has shown the capacity to act alone, particularly in regional actions in the Western Hemisphere, as well as its own civil war. So they have gone alone in certain instances, but for the majority of these wars and these conflicts, they've had allies. And Trump right now feels he doesn't need allies. This is a different world than 1895 or whatever year I was talking where they were going along. This is different. The militaries are stronger. The artillery is stronger. It's different than back there. You need allies to help you in some of these conflicts, but they want to act like they're tough guys. And I know I keep saying this, but they do. But in reality, they're cowards. They're not tough guys. They're cowards, because you can look at the way that they're handling this mess over here. They don't know how to get out of it. And like I said, I suspect he's just going to bail because they don't know how to get out of this. And like I said, Iran and those Middle Eastern countries, they don't care. They've been fighting for thousands of years, hundreds and thousands of years. They've been fighting. So they don't care about it. And I don't believe this guy cares either. I think his whole end game is to take money, lie, take money, lie, take money. That's his whole deal. He doesn't care about any of this stuff. He starts this stuff and then he goes and sits in the corner because he doesn't have a solution. It's just madness. I mean, it's just total madness. Every day that you get up is something bizarre happening with this guy and the administration. It's crazy. It's a story every day. And to be honest with you, this guy I can't stand. But I'm American. I am an American, and I want America to succeed. I don't want Iran or any of these countries to dominate us. I want America to win. But when you have incompetent people running this country, because 71 million people voted for him, then that's hard to picture us winning anything. It's hard because it's no one in there that knows what they're doing. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. So like and subscribe and help us. You and I grow this channel together, and I really appreciate you, and I will see you guys up the road.